So here's the lawnmower aftermath I promised. At first glance, they probably look fine. But that's because of balance. Yep. My bumper bailed on me again. In fact, they both bailed on me. I was driving around the ring, and it couldn't even have been a minute. And I saw a piece of metal laying on the ground. I didn't even think about it, so I just ran right over it, kept going around in a circle. I come back around and I see a second piece of metal laying like a foot from it. And I realized they're both white and they both have red stripes. And I was the only mower with that design. I do a quick look and sure enough I'm missing both of my bumpers. What probably helped cause that is there was a very extremely overbuilt mower there. And I usually don't complain about going against someone who's overbuilt. But this guy had metal guarding his wheels. He had pipe come out here, and then he had a big piece the whole way protecting both tires. And the bumper probably came out to about here, and then he had a 1 foot point on it. And you can see what that point was doing. It got me right in there. And before this bumper fell off, he got me right in there. You guys can see the line, but you can't really see the indent in the back of that metal. Now, the whole reason this has been up is because I was hitting with my rear. Most of the time, as soon as some of the bumpers came off, I was trying to hit with my rear. He hit this, bent that in. His point came in. This is where my ground cable used to be connected. His point literally came in here and sliced that cable and actually pushed my battery across the floor. It's a good thing we didn't have it in as tight as we could because it helped slide across the floor. And I thought I broke my battery because there were sparks everywhere. I reached for my shut-off cable. Right, I yanked it off and I was trying to touch my cage and I realized it wasn't my battery, it was the cable. So I continued, I shoved that cable in my keyhole because it's not connected to anything. All the wires are pulled. I might be grounded, but that at that time it didn't matter. I kept going, and so there's 9 of us in there. And by this time, I realized there was only 4 mowers left. It was a pointy guy, with the pointy, his buddy who had a very built mower, but he was within the rules. And then the other guy, who he was so stock, he was starting with the key. He had a plastic hood, his bumper had already fallen off, but he did have a stack. I gotta give him props for that. And by this time, all 4 of my tires were flat. In fact, this one is still flat. All the other ones are just popped off the bead because of that point. So the American flag guy, the other stock mower was Pan's American flag, so I call it American flag. The American flag mower got flipped over like 3 times. Like the guy with the point just kept sitting there waiting for him to get upright and he'd flip him back over again. Well, I figured I'm going to at least get third. I'll run around and see if I can get one of them to time out or one of them to shut down. Well, then that point came in and got my fuel line right there. I was leaking fuel. So I hurried up, waved my arms, shut my mower off with my kill wire, and then reached down here and turned my fuel switch off, which it was jammed all the way up in here. You can actually see the damage that happened to it. It still works. I don't know if I'm going to replace it or not. That is not moisture you see. It's like some kind of glitter. But it was jammed all the way up in there. Of course, this was turned the other way, so it fit up in there. I literally had to yank it out and turn the fuel off. Because I still have plenty of fuel in my fuel tank. And then just simple 9-wire. So I got third. I got $60 and a decent trophy. It's actually a lot better than the one I got first place from. Josiah he got 5th. Now what took him out is he was running around and doing awesome. The only damage to his mower was the front bumper. It broke both frame rails. The welds broke. The only thing holding his bumper on was this strap of metal that went up to his cage. And every time he hit somebody with the front, it pushed in. But that used to be straight out, lined up right with that target. And it bent up that much. His cage, his engine cage. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet or not, but this used to be down here. But when this came up, it shoved it up and broke it there. And this side is actually broken off. Something else I forgot to show you guys, how hard we were hitting. It bent this up. This was straight on there and curved out, I believe is how it went. And we were hitting hard enough that it bent this up repeatedly. Also, I did notice that tire's got very slight lean to it, or maybe one of them does. This back tire is leaned in a little, just a tiny bit. But what took this one out is he has a throttle cable. And he got hit when he was pushing it, and something had to have happened in here that took a spring off. We still don't know if it starts or not because our batteries were dead when we went to move them, so we got that charging to see how it's doing. But another problem with this mower is it's leaking oil. So I hope nothing internally damaged to it. But we're going to have to see. It's got oil all over the frame. And there's hardly any in the crankcase. So that's that, guys. Didn't get to video the event. I thought for sure it was going to be live. Turns out it wasn't. I can't find a single video on YouTube. Their Facebook page doesn't have it. I think I said it was at Chaos in the Valley 2021. So this thing just needs the bumper welded back on and start it up to see if that throttle works. So this one needs the rack bumper, front bumper, and a new fuel line, and a battery cable. All fixable, but I doubt this will see any of my attention until next year. But we'll have to see about that. And I never showed these before. We got tired of our ratchet straps last time coming off. So he just ran some, I guess you could call it all thread, through the floor. And we put a plate under it, and our batteries just bolted down. Worked perfectly, they didn't come out, and they're there ready for use. This is what my cable used to look like. It broke off right there as I showed you before. And that's about the gist of it. This probably would have played out a whole lot different if that mower with the pointy bumper hadn't showed up. Because there was 5 of us trying to knock him over. There's me, Josiah, 2 other brothers, and then a guy who's his first time derby, and we all hit it off for buddy. We're planning on going out there and flipping him. But the most competitive of the 5, he got flipped over and couldn't get his mower started in time. And the other guy, who was also one of the other competitive guys, got his choke cable wrapped up. And he was timed out. So, who knows how this would have played out. If we would have flipped him over, I probably wouldn't have got 3rd. But that's just how it works. So you guys are probably done listening to me ramble on and on about these. So stay tuned for any updates of these, the W body, and the other builds ready to come.